This is Paul Anthony, founder of the Escape Podcast and executive production crew for this version. It is with a humbling sense of pleasure that I christen this show. Before it officially launches, Kyle, Nick, and Flair will take good care of you while they talk their favorite mobile game, Marvel Strike Force. I'm not leaving you, at least not yet anyway, and the Galaxy of Heroes show will be back every other week so that the Nev and I can give you fresh takes on the game and talk about everything that has happened since the last show. I trust these three with bringing you the quality, or lack thereof for some of you, that you expect from this show that was started by Scotty McLaren and I as we dreamed of what it would be like to make different podcasts under one umbrella. We have the shows with that on the side, yes, but this is what we wanted for the podcast from the very beginning, to bring a community together to talk about their passions for gaming. So, without further ado, it is my esteemed honor to utter the cold open. Take it away, boys. One is a resident aquatic creature from the mountains of Appalachia. Another is a calm, calculated collector from the swamplands of Florida. And the other is a raid battle commander from the cornfields of the Midwest. Together, there are no signs of intelligent life on board. But with an average of over 1,000 days spent logged into the game each, the one thing we are sure of is you will be entertained. This is the Escape Pod Cast, a weekly look into some of the best mobile games out there. This is the Marvel Strike Force Edition. Live from the Nerdy Network studios aboard the Helicarrier, here are your hosts, Flair Embers, Nick Williams, and Kyle Preston.
Coming up on this week's episode of the Escape Pod Cast.
It's our first show. You can even smell the wet paint on the Helicarrier.
Zombie Iron Man has finally settled in after his release. How has the Undying team fared so far in the game?
We've gone back to the Stone Age as Black Panther 1 million BC's meta events have started, and they're giving us shards instead of orbs?
The Plague Corps event kicks off the meta event, and Balance admits they don't want us to break our fingers blitzing. And all of this work for a week 1 event? Are you getting your Panther pelts?
We are 1 week post the colossal screw-up of the 80 million fragments. Did you give in, and how is that affecting the player community?
Friday also means a new blog post has dropped. Who's Frumbable this week, and how's Boundless messing with the player base this time around?
That opens the Darkhold with the story time and reveals the story of Morgan Le Fay. And Zeri brings us his top 5 beginner teams in our special segments.
And our special guest is Mr. Jigabachi, who joins us to talk about how he picked MSF back up and about his experience so far.
Of course, it wouldn't be the Escape Pod Cast without Patreon's choice on the bridge from our Helicarrier.
As always, all this in breaking news
And bug reports, as and if they happen.
Right here on the Escape Pod Cast.
What is up, my friends? Welcome to the Escape Pod Cast. My name is Bones88, aka Kyle Preston Billingsley. I'm joined here with my good friends, Nick Williams, aka Sophronis, and Flair Embers. How are you guys doing today?
Oh, we are here. We are here.
That's right, guys. We are here, and it is a glorious. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. And real quick for everyone to get to know us a little bit, tell everyone what your guys' GP or TCP is. Sorry, and then let's get on it. Get on with the show, my friends.
Who wants to go first?
I guess I can. I'm at 17.3 million. About 1,300 days in the game.
I am at like 20.1 million, and I've been for just under 1,000 in the game.
Big dog.
Heck yeah.
I am about 1,300 days in, and I am 14.1 million.
Man, I'm like I'm the youngest dog in the pool, and I've got the biggest set of teeth. So
Is someone aquatic in nature? It sounds like
just a little bit aquatic in nature. Actually, not that much recently. Hey, let's go ahead and just get started on some of the stuff we're wanting to talk about. We've got a lot of things we want to do. First off, hey guys, seriously, thank you all for joining us. We've got how we're doing everything is we're not going to have an episode every single week because we're sharing time with the Swugga version of the show with Paul and Neil, but so that way we have time to talk about some of the things that have been happening recently. Let's go ahead and do we want to go ahead and talk about Zim, Zombie Iron Man first off? Let's get that started and see how everyone's feeling about him.
Yeah. First of all, do you guys have him unlocked, and are you guys using him right now?
Oh yeah, I've been using him in every single war. I've kind of been playing around with the teams. I've really been enjoying the kind of the nuke it list of Zombie Iron Man with Hela, Cable, Loki, and Silver Surfer. And so having that team, I just throw it, 400k punch up against Young Avengers, and I can all but hit auto. I mean, the first couple of things I'll manage and make sure that it's good, and then once Squirrel Girl dies, it's just hit auto and go.
Flair, what about you? Also, you guys, we might have to explain like the mechanics why he's so cool, because some people might not have him, and there's some new people, but I don't have him up yet because I'm working on other things. But what's the mechanic? Like him and Hela, right? They just do like this cheese stuff, right?
Basically, Hela turns Zombie Iron Man into Greg. So she has two Gregs.
Yeah.
And
Greg is, we got to explain who Greg is.
We've got to play the baby steps right now. Hey, this is episode 1. Eventually we can start to be like, oh, hey, this is this, and this.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So Hela spawns a dude that we call Greg because he's called that in the game files. He's the undead Asgardian. So Zombie Iron Man, yes, the two of them together are 2-piece for war offense. And I think there's multiple factors into why he is stupid busted right now at no red stars. One, actually, I think some people have been finding out he's actually kind of bugged in some of his interactions because of how his passive interacts with other passives. They're trying to, I don't know if everyone's quite nailed down. I know Dorky Dad, another content creator here in the MSF space, has gotten a little bit of an idea. He's like, okay, these interactions aren't happening in this and this and this, but Zim or Zombie Iron Man has just this bonkers level kit of, an ability block straight away on turn 1. He can extend debuffs. Anytime someone is bleeding, he's going to mind control and attack other characters. So he's not doing the damage. It's their own characters damaging themselves.
That's awesome. Yeah, I haven't got to experience that yet. But
it kind of end rounds part of the kit's why it's so good with Young Avengers is a lot of their kit revolves around them getting hit.
Right.
So you're creating a situation where they're hitting themselves to death.
Mm-hmm.
And it mechanically, you're absolutely right. The mind control mechanic seems even where it won't even actually fire all the time, even though it really doesn't matter because of just how strong the whole team is and how it functions.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've noticed that it would have been 2 wars ago where I was punching up and I could notice them like, well, there should have been mind control there, but it didn't hit.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't really matter. You still won. You just didn't win in enough time. But no, even low gear, I think mine's maybe gear 10, gear 11,
mm-hmm.
and it doesn't even matter. I mean, my Hela is like gear 14, but if your Hela is huge, it doesn't even matter. As long as she stays alive, you can do whatever you want.
Right. Well, yeah. And then, so someone mentioned in chat as well, Hela, think about it this way. If Zombie Iron Man drops a bleed, or if any character drops a bleed, Hela then just spreads it and everything else. Hela's been a great character for a long period of time because she could spread negative effects. She fell off for a while because she was an expensive character to bring up. But now she's been kind of thrusted back into the limelight with Zombie Iron Man back in the game. And not to mention, it's just like, hey, for example, someone like me at 20 million TCP, I'm at the point where I'm in the second run of Dark Dimension 5, which is kind of the end game content right now, besides preparing for Apocalypse. I have all the Mystic characters that I need to be geared up at the highest gear level that I need them at right now. So everything else I get is just play money right now. So Hela went to 15. I would have never done that like a year ago. God, no. But I have the gear now on top of the issue that we'll talk about probably in the second segment. The huge fiasco. I have the resources to kind of do willy-nilly with it. It's just like, oh, hit the button.
So speaking of gear, what gear does Zim need to be viable?
Anything, honestly.
Anything? Because I have about 12, I think.
65, gear 11. Nothing.
Sweet.
Nothing crazy. Because he actually, you want him to die.
Mm-hmm.
He has that same revive mechanic that Hela's undead gets. So really, you're not hurting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, he is basically.
Mm-hmm.
I really actually appreciate, the release method wasn't fantastic, but I appreciate the fact that Scopely is rewarding people who use not the premium, but the ideal plug and play characters such as Loki and Hela. Since they unlock you 2 legendaries, they're viable in war even before then with the old Asgardian team for people who are working their way up the ladder towards Hero Asgardians. It feels like it's rewarding players who took the time to at least invest something in those characters.
Right.
So what do you guys think about his cadence? It's a once a year thing. What do you guys think about that?
Well, so I have some ideas on this one. So my biggest thing is that I feel like this was intentional, trying to induce FOMO, because they were saying this is the only time in 2022 you're going to be able to get Zombie Iron Man. Guess what, buddy? There's only 2 months left in 2022. Why are we getting our pants in a jiffy about this?
Right. But let's say that it does come at the same time every year. I mean, are you against it? Are you for it? I think it's kind of cool. As long as you unlock him, you can use him. I get that you can't get him to 7-star, but I think it's kind of a cool idea.
Not to mention, those offers were disgusting. I have a 3-star Zombie Iron Man, and it's at gear 13. I didn't take it any higher because, one, the unique piece is nowhere to be found right now. It's not in orbs. It's not in anything. So it's just the
only pieces you could get were either the offers or from his second page event, which you needed to unlock him. Yep. So if you didn't have, which was also bugged, where you had to put him in a squad in order to put him into the game, into those rounds.
So that was an existing bug, not necessarily tied to the Zim event. That was a bug in the game in general. When the patch dropped, we had a ton of issues with save squads, period. And I think Zim just became an unfortunate addition to the issue. But it was one of those, hey, you just needed Zim. You did not need him unlocked. You didn't need him past 2 stars. You could do everything else. Heck, he could have been gear 1, level 1, and you wiped the floor with everything. Like I took in my A team plus Zim and just rolled through everything.
Well, anything else about Zim? I think Bob covered that.
He's ridiculous and he's good.
If you guys have him, level him up or work on him, but you can't till next year if you don't have him yet.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling they're going to do the Icarus and Cersei treatment to him.
Probably. And yeah, they did. So chat's mentioning, yes, they did give us some free gear in the mail. Problem is that free gear in the mail, you literally get enough pieces to just bring him from nothing to 16, as far as the uniques are concerned. That's it. We have no other way. We don't know if Archangel, who's supposed to be coming next patch, or any other character in that patch is going to be requiring his unique piece, which is Chromium. And if any of those characters take Chromium and we don't have access to those, guess what, buddy? You're up the creek without a paddle. And you fell for a trap.
Well,
yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah. And because everybody was hoarding, they're trying to basically scare people off of it.
Yep.
Which is fine with me. I don't want to hoard anymore.
Because they remember what they did for Morgan Le Fay Gambit, where we basically just hoarded for a month.
Mm-hmm.
And then took all of the raid orbs out.
Right.
Okay, so I know we wanted to say this for last, but I want to talk about it because I kind of have something to say about it. But the 40K orbs, since we're talking about gear anyways.
Let's talk about it. Okay. I'm good talking about it. Let's talk about it.
Okay, and this is the one that stuck out to me that I wanted to talk about. But if you guys don't know, Marvel Strike Force, a lot of the time, have bug packs. And I don't know how or why they're doing it, but and they're amazing. Like, amazing value. It happens a lot. So whenever people call it out and call them out, they put it back in there for people to get if you want to buy it. And the latest one is, what was it, $20? And like I said, if you don't play the game or if you're not coming, but there's orbs, and we got 40,000 orbs for these mini uniques.
20,000 for Gear 14 and Gear 15.
And what do you think, Flair? Like, what's the value on that? Let's say if it was true value, how much do you think that is?
Okay, if we wanted to run by Scopely dollars, if we wanted to be very nice to it, like lowballing it, we're probably talking about a couple of thousand.
That's what I've been saying, about $2,000 is what I was thinking. Yeah. For $20. Okay, but here's my thing. I'm excited. I don't really even know what the orbs were, right? I just knew it was gear, but it's mini uniques. So really, they're one of the most rarest things, but you don't need them a lot of the times. So I didn't realize it was mini uniques. So now I'm really not even using them, because I can't get past, Gear 13 because I need all these other things just to get to where I need to use.
Oh, you're talking about needing the 13 uniques.
Yeah,
the actual piece, the main pieces. Right, right.
So I'm not really accelerating any faster than what I was. And now when I get to that point, it's done, and it's very hard to find them.
When you get to the point where you're needing to take characters to 14 and 15 in regular, like that, literally. For reference, for the longest time, ever since 14 and 15 as gear levels were brought into the game, they have been major choking points because you're needing a couple of pieces each for each individual part. Some characters can require all 5 of their other pieces besides their unique piece to be mini uniques of that gear level. Hela, for example, I mentioned earlier, she's expensive because she takes the maximum number of each mini unique for each gear level.
Which I believe is 76? Or is it 90?
It depends on the gear level itself. I know on 15, I think it's 90.
I'll verify. Give me a moment.
Yeah, if you want to verify that. But no, so it's for me, for example, I will never have to farm a G14 piece, a G15 piece for anything. Whether it's a bio or a mystic or a mutant character, because God knows we're running into mutants and mystics like it's Christmas every day of the week, and I'll never have to worry about it.
Max is 90.
Max is 90. Right. Okay. So 90 pieces, but that's 90 of one mini unique. And each character has 2 mini uniques at a gear level
for their trait. So this is really helpful from my perspective, who's working on building his horseman teams. Like, I've been working on the Gamma team, and it's been really nice not to have to worry about having to spend 2 weeks farming my bio gear. Because when it was for the first saga for Morgan Le Fay's team, it took me like 3 weeks to farm up all of the Mystic uniques to take to 15, because I would have them at 13 or 14 and then hit a brick wall. I could take them to 16. I just had to get there.
Right.
And so what's killing me right now is catalysts. Like health catalysts. Boy, howdy, if someone could donate me some health catalysts, that'd be fantastic. Like I have like the primary ones, but it's the actual specialty ones that are killing me. I ran out of the target ones today.
Oh, the focus catalysts?
Yeah, the focus catalysts killing me. But like, I have the shields and I don't have the health ones.
So
howdy.
I mean,
go ahead. Sorry.
Here's where I am on all that. So again, big whale, like not whale, like big fish in the ocean. I've got all 3 of the horseman teams. So Morgan Le Fay, hey, who Thaddeus is talking about later. Rogue, I've got Red Hulk, and then I've got Spider Weaver and Dormammu, and all the characters I took to go through Dark Dimension 5. I've got all those characters at G16. Don't ask me about G17. I don't care about that right now. That's not the point. So right now, I've been doing this grind of getting this new team, Death Seed, that's going to be Archangel with Psylocke and Magneto and Dark Beast and a 5th member.
I can't wait for that. I'm
so excited for Archangel.
Excited, man. Me too.
I'm so excited. I've got all this gear kind of set aside for them. And right now, as long as I keep my numbers at where I am, I can play a little bit. I took up Spider-Man 2099, who is a monthly release character. I took him up and he's at 15 now. And I'm keeping him at 15 because I don't need to go any higher than that. I'm doing that just for the arena. But I can take his gear up because he's a bio character. All the bio characters I needed to bring up are all up there. Mystic characters I'm bringing up now. Like I said, I took Hell up because I have the gear. I have 20,000 orbs to work with. Of course I'm going to bring her up. So it's a ton of stuff.
Okay, I have a question though about this. I'm seeing many people in Discords and Reddit saying that this is going to ruin the economy. I don't believe that. Do you guys believe this is going to ruin the economy? Okay,
so from a endgame perspective, there's really one huge issue. There's two things that are happening here. One, when we had the 3K orb gate, which was about a year ago, 3K orb gate, or it may have been 2 years ago. The time is wibbly wobbly to me at this point. But when that happened, Australian players had gotten like 3,000 orbs instead of 3,000 orb fragments. And they were trying to mess with some stuff and trying to roll that back because it was given to players for free. Money was spent, meaning they couldn't go back and just make nice on this to everyone and say, take this all away and here's some power cores. People spent money knowing what was the value of this. For everyone that is free to play, period, end of story. Like, they will never spend a dime on mobile games because that's part of their code. And again, I full disclosure, I spend every so often. But when someone looks at an offer like that and they choose not to spend, they are kind of intentionally in a place where it's like, hey, everyone around me in my arena shard that spends will never have to worry about farming those catalysts, the farming the mini uniques. They still have to farm the catalyst and they still have to farm everything else, but they can spend all the other energy and time and resources they would have spent into the mini uniques and pump those directly into health and focus and everything else and origin pieces. There's so many things that are happening right now. It's like, okay, this just widened the gap between the free to play and the payers. It doesn't even have to be the whales. We're talking about someone who just dropped $20 and that's it.
Yeah, and I think it's mostly salty free-to-play players that are mad about it, because they don't want to be tempted to spend any money, and they're proud of it, We all know how proud free-to-play people are, right? It's kind of a meme at this point. But, so I feel them on that. But I got another question about this. We can move on after this question. But do you think they're going to do something in the game to make them less valuable, or what I'm trying to say, like kind of dumb down the valuable because now everyone has so many?
Nick, unless you got anything else, I've got some ideas rumbling in my head.
My biggest thought is thinking about the whole concept where you have the finally kind of Scopely like letting go. I feel like this was a little bit of a ploy, actually, in terms of the entire economy. Hear me out. Get the tinfoil hats on here for a second.
I love it. But let's get our that on.
So when you have this amount where it basically makes it pointless, they'd already released most of the gear pieces into Doom campaign. They handed out a ton of those pieces in the pocket dimensions and in DD4 and DD5.
Right.
Realistically, the value, I wonder this, whether the value and the purchase value of those orbs has continued to crash over time, where it'll create the situation that they can get one last mistake and make a ton of cash. Because you, Flair, you and everybody else who will agree with me, people ran, they didn't walk to this offer. So
within 30,
it's really
okay,
actually a mistake when they make a ton of money. It makes it feel like, even though it's in their MO to make that kind of a mistake, but what if it's one of those where, oh no, we made a mistake, spend $20.
See, so again, kind of going back to the evaluation of what those orbs would have been, we're talking thousands and thousands of dollars in what they would normally be pricing. Now, yes, I feel like they probably saw a massive influx of people that don't normally spend on those, especially considering the offer is initially kind of aimed at being a progression offer for the special offensive that was happening at the time, which was raid credits and spending energy. So normally people don't do that unless they are intentionally behind and they want to catch up and they want to hit pieces and stuff like that. I feel like this was an issue with a decimal point that was off. And sure, it probably just crapped the bed for them as far as trying to milk out more of 14s and 15s. But I think they're in a point now where they're going to have to say, okay, we've done the mistake. We're just going to have to let it happen. Now, where do they go from here? That's the better question. Now, the idea is going to be, okay, what do we do to milk out as much of the issue as possible? If we see characters that are not max requirement for gear at each gear tier level for at least a solid couple of months, I am going to be surprised. Because they can change those numbers. They could change those before it comes out. We don't have everything in the data mines just yet. We know that the remaining characters in this patch, sure, they're not going to change that because we already have all the information and they're already coded into the game for what gear they require. I don't think they've changed what gear is required for a character at all.
From my understanding, that's never happened.
So they can't do it right now.
An inflation going forward, much like Chirotechs became more common in the other game.
Say it, Seth.
It's the sister show.
It's the sister show. Fair enough. But you make a good point. I wonder if we are going to see more 90s as a result, or they just turn the catalyst up. It very well could be that too.
Or they just ignore it and pretend it didn't even happen.
Have the orbs. Too bad.
Or they just pretend it didn't happen and just let the people who got it and move on. Because there's going to be a lot of people who didn't get it. There's going to be a lot of new players who will never get it. You know what I mean? So they might just keep moving how they do.
Yep. All right. Well, hey, we've been having a lot of great discussion about this, but we also need to talk about Contagion Corps and the blog posts that have dropped. So we've got a lot of show left to do, but we also need to get some breaks. So, hey, after this break, we're going to pick right back up where we've been talking. We'll talk about the events that we're wrapping. We are in the middle of right now with Contagion Corps. We'll talk about what's coming up this next week. We got more stuff coming along the lines. So, guys, we'll see you right after this break.
Hey there, listeners. Merchandise specialist Critty K here. Do you enjoy the Escape Pod and want to support the channel and get something a little extra for yourself as well? Head on over to tpublic.com/user/theescapepodcast and grab a Team Neil, Team Paul, Critty Play, or many other fun Padawan designs on your choice of shirt, cup, sticker, mask, or even a magnet. And be sure to check out the Mrs. Anthony Shirts channel on the Escape Podcast Discord and get the latest info on the other designs I make as well. Sometimes there's even a sale going on, so it is smart to stop on by. Thank you for supporting the Escape Podcast.
Are you like us and play more than one mobile game? Well, we have good news. The Escape Podcast has expanded its lineup.
There's the flagship Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes show every first and third Friday with Paul Anthony and the Nev.
And the Marvel Strike Force show on the second and fourth Fridays with Flair, Kyle, and Nick.
Join our Discord to stay up to date with these and our additional shows produced under the Nerdy Network flag.
Everything happens live on the Escape Pod Cast Twitch channel, or you can catch up on what you missed on our YouTube channel or your favorite podcast app.
Thanks for listening to the Escape Pod Cast. Be nice to each other, damn it.
This is the Noob from Dickie and the Noob, and this is XMG's Corner.
Welcome all to XMG's Corner. It's your boy Zara, and I am here first off to say congratulations on your first episode of this podcast. I am extremely honored to be part of this. What we're going to talk about today in honor of your first show is we're going to go over my top 5 teams for beginning characters. I'm going to have 5 with 1 honorable mention. What I did is when I looked at this list is I looked at farmability, I looked at longevity, I looked at versatility, and I looked at a little plug and play. Because when you first start the game, you're going to be kind of mashing some people together to make good teams. So what are these people that could be used to plug and play to get you through certain campaigns, to get you through raids, get you in blitz, things like that. So without further ado, I can't thank you all enough for the honor to be here. Let's jump into it. Jumping into the list, we have an honorable mention with the Young Avengers. This is a honorable mention team because they are kind of coming out of the beginning game to mid-game, but I still consider them late beginning game team. You have Spider-Man Miles. Spider-Man Miles can be found in Heroes 3-3 and is a plug-and-play character used for a different team later on in the game. Next one up, you have American Chavez. American Chavez is villain 6-9. Then you go into Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel is found on Mystic 2-6. Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl, very great healer, found in Nexus 4-3. And then Kate Bishop is the hardest out of all of them. She is Mystic 3-9. Very kind of, this is to be the hardest one to farm, but you get them. They can do great things right off the bat in all areas of the game for you. First one up, honorable mention, is to Young Avengers. Coming in at number 5 is Sinister Six. Sinister Six is a good starting villain team to help you progress. They are branched off into 2 different teams when you unlock Dr. Octopus, etc. And we're going to start going down the line with Mysterio. He can be farmed at the Heroes 2-3. Then you move into Vulture, who's part of the Arena store. Rhino is in the Blitz store. Shocker is in Heroes 3-9. And the Green Goblin is Villains 2-3. Overall, it does have some longevity, will give you a solid synergy in Blitz. Really good team to help you progress into that villain campaign just a little bit further. Next team up at number 4, we have the Heroes for Hire / Defender team. The reason this isn't higher is because a lot of them come out of the Blitz store, but this team is set up for longevity for sure. Heroes for Hire become one of the, if not the best, war defense team with a lot of resources put into them. But starting with Misty Knight, she is found in the Blitz store. Jessica Jones, found in Villain 2-9. Luke Cage, Blitz store. Iron Fist, Nexus 1-9, and Shang-Chi, the Blitz store. So it's going to take a lot to get this team up and running, but when you do, you will not regret it. Having 3 farmable characters out of the same store is why they are not higher on my list. Coming in at number 3 is a city hybrid team, and you're going to see Iron Fist in here, and we're going to hold off a minute on Iron Fist. But starting with Night Nurse. Night Nurse is a great healer, will help you progress in raids. She is Villains 3-9. Then you have Multiple Man. Multiple Man is, in my opinion, one of the most underrated tanks to help you progress. He is found in the Raid store. Spider-Man, starting character, part of the Web Warriors team. Spider-Man is found in the Blitz store. Then you have Punisher, does some good AoE damage, will help you progress, part of the skilled military team later on in the game. Heroes 1-6. And then you have the Iron Fist slot. Based on the other teams we talked about, you could plug and play another one of those characters to help you progress. You have Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Miss Marvel, Misty Knight, Jessica Jones, the whole Sinister Six team, all city. So, help you out in raids, blitz, progress. A lot of different options with this team, that's why it's number 3. And a lot of people in this team just branch off into so many other teams. So progressing your city team right off the bat is going to help you out a lot. Number 2 is the Wave 1 Avengers. Now, Wave 1 Avengers, you might be thinking, Zeri, they don't have the longevity, and that is correct, but they are a phenomenal starting team, and the one character that's not on here is from the events, and that is Iron Man. Iron Man can plug in and be a huge damage dealer for you in the beginning. So let's start with Hawkeye. Hawkeye is farmable from Heroes 1-9. Thor is Heroes 7-3, but can also be found in the Raid store. Hulk is from your achievements. Captain America is Nexus 1-3, and then Black Widow is Villains 1-9. Hulk and Thor are probably the two best ones used to sink your most resources in on this team, but Black Widow can give you that speed boost for Arena, help you progress there. Captain America is a very good early tank. Hawkeye can put up blinds, so a lot of different debuffs and things going on. Very, very much a great team for beginning game progression. And then you could sub in Iron Man once you get him unlocked. And my number one team is an Infinity Watch Guardians hybrid. Very strong out of the gate. And there's 2 different variations to this team. Actually 3 once you get Star-Lord unlocked. But that is a little bit more down the road. But I'll go over that here in a minute. Starting with this team, you have a taunting tank with Drax right out of the gate. He is in the Arena store. Gamora, huge investment out of the Blitz store. Rocket Raccoon is out of the Raid store, very heavy AoE damage dealer. Then you have Nebula, if I could remember her name. Nebula is Nexus 4-6, so that's a little bit of a tough grind, but worth the investment. And then you have Mantis, who again is found in the Blitz store. 2 out of 1, but this team will help you progress so much. I'll be right back with the second version. Second version of this team is, again, everybody, and you took out Mantis. If you did not want to get Mantis out of the Blitz store because you're focusing on Gamora, you could put in Groot. Groot isn't the best longevity tank, but you have some synergy there with Rocket Raccoon. He also puts up cheat deaths, heals, takes away some negative effects, so he is a good option. But you could also, if you wanted to, you could get rid of Nebula because you can't get there. You could put in Mantis there, but this is the Infinity Watch kind of Guardians team that will really help you out. Very good, solid early Arena team, especially with Nebula in there. Mantis gives you the heals with a little bit more longevity, but this is a variant hybrid, and Infinity Watch is still one of the strongest, best teams in the game, in my opinion. I use them all the time. So, with that being said, there is my top 5 beginner teams. Thank you so much again, Escape Podcast, Marvel Strike Force Edition, for having your boy Zary here. Best of luck to you. Congrats on everything. I love y'all. Thanks.
Hi. Good?
Yep.
Oh, okay. First show, guys.
First show.
What's up, guys? You got to go like this, man. You got to
yeah. Hey, I'm learning.
You're good, buddy. You're good. So we are back, guys. Welcome back. And there's an event in the game called Contagion Corps. Lots of drama going on. A lot of, Scopely taking things back and trying to make things better. You guys are more knowledgeable about what's going on, because I haven't even read the blog post yet. So Flair, go ahead and take it away, man.
Actually, Nick, you got some stuff on this. Well, you start off.
Yeah. So I actually have the post up, but basically beforehand, the estimates that we were getting for the event to max out the web milestone, where most of the rewards are, was you needed to do 8 rotations a day on average, and pray that that's enough. At 36 blitz wins a run. Like, that's insane. Like, usually they'll say, oh, you can do 4 blitz runs and get this far, 6 blitz runs and you'll be fine.
Yep.
8, 16 hours. It's just like, what are you doing?
Everything.
And so, as always, the salt mine opened up and Scopely was like, oh, we didn't mean 8. So they reduced it down to 16,000, which is about 4 rotations a day. But if you were doing those 8 rotations, or like even 6 rotations,
you're almost done.
You're basically done, or you have like 1 or 2 runs a day at this point.
When I heard that they were dropping the requirements down, I basically kind of stopped. I was like, all right, I'm at 14,000 points of the 16,000. I can do 2 rotations and I'm fine a day at most. On top of the fact that we get blitz credits from the events that are going right now. So anytime a new blitz starts, there is a whole bunch of blitz credits that drop in those milestones, and those count towards the goal. So it's like, I may only do like literally a rotation just to do the milestones, and that's it.
And they also handed us 5,000 Plague Monger orb fragments in the web store, so
that's helping out a lot. So the biggest issue, and really, so the biggest controversy was happening with this is that, so this is part of a meta event. For those that have not played the game a whole lot, the meta events are month-long runs of events. There's 4 big week-long events with 4 additional blitzes and then 2 alliance-related events, and those are related to spending ISO 8 energy. But the 4 main events typically start out relatively okay. The heat's been turned up. They're kind of hurting you a little bit, and then it's gonna suck towards the back end of it, depending on what's happening and where your progression is and where you've picked your roster at times. Some of these events have catered to people that have built very specific characters up. And then some of them have just been way more catered towards, hey, are you hoarding a lot of things? Because if you are, you're fine. If you haven't, God help your soul.
Or even worse, how many hours do you want to surrender?
Exactly.
You can spend money or blitz until your hands fall off.
And a lot of people blitz till their hands fall off.
I'm one of those people. Yep. I refuse to do it for a meta event. Otherwise, I'll just spend a couple of cores and buy a couple of the actual characters' orbs and wait for their, as we'll discuss here in a moment, their upcoming like coring events.
Yep.
Where you spend 2K cores or something. It's not crazy, and they gave us 4K the other day, so I've retained most of it because I'm core positive. You just do your dailies. Mm-hmm. You create it to where you'll have a small stash. So once a month, you'll wait for that event to come around. You throw a couple of orbs through, and then you're moving forward. Mm-hmm. So it eases those strains and lets you maybe punch up a little bit more than where you were wanting to.
Yep. So, and also the biggest thing with this is that, hey, before they dropped everything down, there was the risk of people not even getting the event item. There's 4 event items per a meta month thing. And so this was a Panther pelt, and that gives you a huge amount of points towards that overall monthly milestone. And so if we were still on the 36,000 train, there would be people that probably were not going to be getting that pelt, which would have set them back 35,000 points on a 500,000 point milestone. And so I feel like they made good. I feel like they made good on dropping the points. All I had to do was a blitz rotation, and you got everything that you should have received with the updated milestones. But that's week 1. Week 2 is getting ready to begin this next week, actually starting on the 14th. And we've got a lot of things that are happening all at once. Nick, what's the first thing that's happening this next week?
So we actually have 2 dual events. One is actually going to be a meta event, and then we have what's called the Strike Salute. So that one is it seems to be kind of their nice little freebie thank you for the end of the year, where it's, it's not crazy. You're probably going to max up the milestones pretty easily, but it has some good stuff in it. It's got a couple of Spider Weaver shards, Icarus, Circe, I think a little bit of Kestrel.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's even distributions of Kestrel, Deathpool, Spider Weaver, and then you get extra shards of Icarus and Circe.
Yeah, I can't complain about that. Those are all premium characters.
Oh, I feel like Nick is frozen up right now. We'll keep it going though while that's happening. Anyways, oh, here he is. He's back. All right, we've got so the biggest thing. Hey guys, if you're trying to play these things and trying to build up, you want to be holding some energy. Hold some campaign energy specifically, or be very careful about where you spend it. Because hey, right now we're in the middle of Contagion Corps, which requires you to spend campaign energy to get shards of orbs. And then we have another event that's going to require campaign energy. But just looking at the math for it, like it's not a whole lot of energy. And then we get additional points for milestone stuff by doing things on the web store. So I think they're being a little nice with us. But it's still just, hey, be ready, be prepared.
Oh, I definitely think it's a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde moment, though, because when you look at the Commander's Cash event.
Yes.
I mean, because you got the nice side of, here are all these fun little shards. This will help you. I honestly don't see how it's going to be terribly, terribly difficult to meet these milestones.
Right.
Especially given what Commander's Cash is going to ask you to do.
Oh, yes, it is asking quite a bit.
So there is the Ancient Claw necklace in there as well. It's got the basic vibranium meteorites that are part of the event. And the typical things, we get a 5-star Okoye. That's pretty nice. So she's gotten a boost from the War Dogs team. And some of her shards, which there are a lot of people who have her pretty high up. So for the folks who really advance this event, I'm not sure that's really helping anything. Mm-hmm. But essentially, you have, even if you do the bare minimum on the event, so basically it's not too much. You basically make 19 million on a standard rotation diet of 10 war battles over 3 wars, 200 cores a day, and spending 2.275 million gold a day puts you at 19 million.
Well, you need 19.5.
Or 19.5.
Yeah, that's where the event item is. Now, for where someone like I am, typically when I see war event, my math then goes 12 war battles because you have enough time between the wars to make up the energy refills for war. 12 is a good number unless we're talking about the Alliance War milestone that was the collect war credits. That one I usually went 13 battles, but 12 war battles. If you're in the middle of this ISO 8 coordinated assault event, which also gives progression towards the Black Panther First Panther event, the meta event, then you're probably going to hit a point where you're going to start spending on average about 300 cores a day. That puts it down to only needing to spend, I think it's like 12 million gold. About 12 so million gold. And that's also not counting any sort of additional milestone progress that they've mentioned in the scoring guide for this. I don't know how that's going to get added in. They're not mentioning anything related to that. They may have it as part of like a free claim Friday deal thing, or not free claim Friday, the daily free claims they've got on the web store. But so basically for people that are holding on to star upgrades, that are wanting to work on really specific characters and have been kind of holding off because they don't want to bust all their gold out, this is kind of a time to do it because it saves you a lot more work in other avenues of the game. If you spend a lot more gold, you don't have to spend as many power cores. If you do a lot more war battles, you may not have to spend as much gold or power cores. The triangle is there, and you pick and choose how far into each corner you got to go.
Absolutely. And they also dangled out a leaderboard for a potential 7-star, 7 red star Black Panther 1 million BC. But here's the caveat. Only 10 people get it.
Ain't that a kick in the pants?
No one listening to this right now is going to be anywhere near that.
For reference, on most of these leaderboard events, I'm usually in the bottom rung. Or I'm like, yeah, like
I'm lucky to get it outside of 75%.
Like, let's see here. Like the bottom tier gets you 500 Elite 4 credits, where I will probably end up not the bottom rung. I'm usually, what is this?
That's 25 to 50.
That 10 to 25% is where I end up landing. It's either 10 to 25 or it's the one right below that, the 25 to 50. I'm usually somewhere in that area on these leaderboard of style events. And that's with me doing the kind of the heavy amount of investment and play for this. I don't, there's very few times where I've had to spend on an event as far as the progression is concerned. Usually I tend to keep on top of these really well. But we also have to be fair. Like we're in now the 4th or 5th month of these kind of style events, and people are getting tired. People are getting so tired of this.
Well, it's also like, why even like advertise the 7-star? Like only the most mega kraken of mega krakens, someone like Tadano Mac is going to be able to even touch that milestone.
It's
there's
insane.
No content creator that's going to hit that. You
not even Reminex.
Like,
no. Rem went free to play or almost. Mobile won't even hit it. No, he won't even get close, and he spends like $400 a month on this game. Yeah.
Is the character worth it?
No.
Honestly,
I don't know that much about him, really.
Unless you have him it's because it's the principle of unused red stars. What's the point of unused red stars is they don't do anything for you unless they're activated with yellow stars. So unless you're already going to spend like $3,000 to take him to 7 yellow stars, why would you bother?
Mm-hmm.
I might go get a loan.
So basically, Tadano Mac is going to be the only person who's actually going to use this. Or someone, from the former Pants of Hulk. The top, you're talking tip of the spear. Like they're the guys at the very end of the pointy end.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if they were handing it out to more percent of the player base, like there's not even a chance at a 5 red star outside of 1%. So the leaderboard's a crack and snack.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really what it is. It's crack and snack incentives because their daily spending on cores is going to more than meet that requirement, which is fine. Hey, look, being an aquatic creature is an acceptable profession.
I don't know. Again, like I said, I don't spend on these typically, and honestly, nowadays it's honestly not nearly as much as it used to be. The biggest thing I do is, and this is from the lens of someone who has spent in the game, if a character is super stupid important, and the way that you're getting that character is going to be balls to the wall difficult to do, that's a couple of check marks for me. That's like, all right, fine, screw it, hit the button. Now, so like Dark Beast, when Dark Beast comes to the game, that is a consideration I'm going to be making because he's part of a raid team, and raid teams are stupid important in this game.
Yeah.
Like you want your raid teams built up.
Yeah. Especially for the mutant nodes.
Yes.
Like a raid skill team to finish Secret Avengers, or a mutant raid team for those of us who do Doom 3. Like it's a crapshoot, even with the best team for Astonishing X-Men. Like mine are just absolutely insane, and they still just can't.
Yeah. Like I'm at 3. We do 3.0, and it's just like, okay, we are like, I don't do the mutant nodes because I actually prefer the skill side, even though you can get one shot by Morbius. It's still insane.
We're doing 3.1, and I flipped over to the skill side just to see where I sit, because my Mystic handles it, but once you get in the mutant nodes, you just get absolutely torn up.
Yeah.
Where we end up basically just doing 2 out of the 3 lanes just so that we can clear it to get to the skill nodes.
Mm-hmm.
Because like we have these great tech teams, we just can't use them.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I love using my tech team about every day. Hey, Kyle, how are you feeling about this upcoming event, war spending campaign, core spending, stuff like that?
I just play the game like I do usual. Like, I know that sounds really boring, but this goes for all the big events. I just look to see, okay, what am I working towards? And I just do my best. Right. I don't stress out about it or worry about getting in there because, I say this all the time, but this game, if I can just unlock a character, that's all I want to do. I just want to unlock the newest character, gear it up as much as I can, and use him somewhere. So, it'll come a bit. And as a long-time free-to-play player in all kinds of games, I just expect not to have a new character for at least 2 to 3 months. So, so like it's fun to be part of the. I just don't stress. I just do what I do every day and check to see. Okay, I need to spend campaign energy. Okay, I need to do war attacks. Okay, and do my best. That's all I can do.
And we did have a couple more items on the blog post here. Our next blitz is Uncanny X-Men Quick Rumble.
Relatively easy.
Really good.
If you're a later player, this is not a hard one to do. There's so many characters with that tag.
Yeah. So that's going to be super easy. Plus, there's a bunch of vibranium meteorites in it. So get your free stuff.
Oh, hey, but what about this villains hard nodes? That is.
So the villain hard nodes are coming out for chapters 1 and 2 to get you some teal gear. And we are getting shard locations for Cersei, Cloak, Kitty Pryde, Bishop, and Sharon Carter. I think it alleviates a lot of pressure on a lot of the other stores for those of us who are still don't have them maxed and need to farm some teal gear.
Yeah, I need a lot of those.
Yeah. I mean, I only need one of them, but that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so for me, I've got a 6-star Cersei. And so I'll be farming the Cersei node until she is 7 stars. Now, this does leave out the thing of the fact that, hey, Icarus is still not farmable outside of his premium orbs, and that's still kind of a kick in the pants if you're anyone that doesn't even have them unlocked. But
he's been dropping pretty well out of the premiums. Like, I've had no problem getting him to drop.
And if you guys don't have Icarus, this man is insane.
Eternals are
3
so
stars.
stupid good.
Run, don't walk, take them as high as you possibly can, because they have so much inherent value in every game mode.
Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous. When they came out, they changed the entire landscape of the game, and they still have holding power. They lost a little bit when Darkhold originally came out, but they've regained some of their ground because of Spider Weaver in 2099. There's some arena meta stuff you can do with that. And even though I don't play into the arena meta all the time, it's still fun to see like, oh, hey, these characters that I maxed out for Dark Dimension 5, I'm still using often. A lot of times I still use them for the Mystic Raid nodes. They're still great for that, even though we have a meta team in Darkhold that we have to use. So it's all good. Now, they've been doing this, kind of moving on from the nodes. We do have this Free Claim Friday that they've been talking about the last little bit. And I don't know how to feel about this one. It's only 5 shards of Nakia.
That's it? Just 5 shards?
I'm wondering if this is it's to promote Wakanda Forever, which is good. They get good cross promotion, lets them, push forward what the mouse wants them to push forward. Like, I get that. That's a nice, because of what's coming for her campaign event.
This is true.
Okay.
With War Dogs being required, those of us like me who's Wakandan sit on the bench, it's going to be ugly. In a few weeks' time when we have our next show, I fully expect us to be talking about, I'm sure, what will probably be a full train wreck. Because when they made that blog adjustment, everyone turned their head and went,
"Wait, what?
What did they just say?"
Yeah. So they made it for reference, for anyone that doesn't know, we have, and we're going to get ready to go to break here in a second as well after this, but just the last piece for this, understand, for Nakia's hard mode difficulty, the 3rd tier, they need War Dogs. There are 5 War Dogs in the game: Black Panther, Shuri, Okoye, Nakia, and Black Panther 1 million BC, baby. So 2 characters that are being released at the time are required for the event.
Wow. I wonder if they're going to stick enough shards to unlock her in the secondary tier. With the free shards, might get you over the line, or you may have to buy like 1 orb.
Maybe. But
kind of like what they did for Zim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They want you to core enough to get there.
So, hey, Kyle, any last thoughts before we go into break?
No, sir. You guys did a great job.
All right, awesome. Hey, guys, coming up, we've got our first interview of the first episode. Hey, Nick, who do we got this time around?
We got Mr. Jigabachi.
We got Jigabachi.
Hey.
All right.
Good friend of the channel.
Also, hey, during the break, Thaddeus, good old Thad, is going to be giving us a little bit of story time. He's going to open the Darkhold and tell us a little bit about Morgan Le Fay. Guys, seriously, we are excited for what's coming up next. Tune in. We'll be right back.
For kids. It's really cool.
Hello there, Padawans, and welcome to the first ever story time with Uncle Thad for the Escape Podcast for Kids, Marvel Strike Force Edition. This segment of the show will highlight one of the new characters coming to Marvel Strike Force, or an existing character that's been in the game for some time. I'll go over the character's backstory and then see how the kit lines up with that backstory. Since I only have a few minutes to tell a character's entire story, each character's events will be somewhat condensed. Today, we're going to start with a powerful sorceress from the days of yore. This mistress of the magical arts will be an important character moving forward in Strike Force, and you're going to want to know more about her. So with that, let's take a look at our first ever character, Morgan Le Fay. Morgan Le Fay was a dark sorceress who's been around for quite some time. Originally from the island of Avalon, one of the surviving islands after the destruction that befell Atlantis. Morgan Le Fay was the daughter of Igraine, a sea priestess and princess, and a local man from one of the sacred clans. As such, she was a part human and part fae. Her human nature helped her to fit into the natural world, while her fae heritage gave her the gift of immortality. As was the custom of the time, Morgan was taken to the Great Sun Temple on the island of Ruta. On the isle, she would be trained in the ways of magic, mystical arts, and Celtic folk dancing. But during her time there, a young priest was warned of the Isles of Rutas and all of Atlantis' impending disaster. As they say, pre-warned is pre-armed. So this priest escaped the island's fate with Morgan and her mother. The trio ended up in Britain. Merlin, this young priest that I mentioned earlier, needed a job. While on the hunt for employment, he stumbled upon the abandoned ruins of Stonehenge. He assumed since the original architects, the aliens, weren't using it anymore, he could. The young priest quickly established a druidic worship service at the monument, which met 3 times during the week and twice on Saturday. Once he gained a name for himself, Merlin later arranged a marriage between Igraine and Gorlios, Duke of Tentagal. But the marriage was short-lived, as Gorlios was brutally dethroned by Uthar Pendragon. Like, brutally, and a little bit xenophobically. Imagine, like, the worst thing you can think of, then have Pendragon throw some, like, anti-fae slurs. It was pretty bad. But Pendragon put aside his dislike for the fae folk, and he would go on to marry Morgan's mother. Some people say that he had grown wise and, put aside his foolish xenophobia. Others say he married Morgan's mother simply to gain the loyalty of her subjects. In reality, Uther Pendragon married Igraine, Sea Princess, because she was his smoking hot smoke show, full of smoke and hotness. But together, the two would have a son, Arthur Pendragon, future king and ruler of Camelot. Now, this marriage and the siring of the future king did not sit well with Morgan, and she did what all half-sisters try to do at one point or another. She tried to kill her half-brother. It was just natural. But as time went on, everyone got older, except for Morgan. I mean, she was immortal after all, so she aged, but she didn't age. But as she watched her younger brother grow into the king he was meant to be, she didn't like it. Not one bit. Arthur liked to do a lot of heavy drinking. Well, heavy drinking and heavy hounding. In fact, the whole Knights of the Round Table concept came about because one night during an evening of debauchery with the boys, Arthur slipped, and he hit his head on the edge of the table, causing him to lose his memory and begin a short-lived life as a fool's apprentice. Now, the Knights of the Round Table, his knights at the time, they thought it was hilarious, so they didn't correct him or anything. It was during this fugue state that he would sire a child that would eventually try and kill him. Again, like many children did to their fathers back in the time. It was in vogue. But when Arthur eventually came to, he vowed then and there that all future tables must be made round, and anyone caught making a square table would be tried and hanged as a witch. In an attempt to square things with his queen, Arthur converted all of Britain to Christianity, because nothing says, "I'm sorry for fathering a bastard child while in a fugue state," like converting an entire nation to a new religion. But this was the last straw for Morgan Le Fay. As an Atlantean, she worshipped Cthon, elder god of earth, and good friend and college roommate to Cthulhu. Morgan joined forces with Arthur's bastard son Mordred, and tried time and time again to overthrow Arthur and destroy Camelot. But Merlin was alerted to this unholy union, and was able to thwart each of the attempts by sending the Black Knight to watch over the king. This Black Knight rescued the king from being kidnapped, broke a poisoned jousting spear meant for Arthur, and even spoiled a plot involving lions and gypsies. But that wasn't as heroic as the others, because the Black Knight just gave the gypsies more money, and Mordred and Morgana just their whole plot fell apart. It was a whole thing. But Morgan wasn't done trying to destroy her half-brother. After repeated attempts to destroy Arthur, Morgan Le Fay would resort to one of the most powerful forms of magic known to all of mankind: delegation, getting someone else to do it. She wasn't having success with destroying Arthur on her own, so this powerful sorceress turned to the magical book of spells, the Darkhold, and attempted to summon Cthon himself. But what Le Fay didn't know, what she couldn't possibly have known, was that Cthon had been out all night the evening before, drinking with his buddy Cthulhu and Set, and had this wicked hangover. So when Le Fay cast the spell, Cthon was having none of it, and showed the sorceress that he was far too powerful for her to use as a minion. Unable to control him, but now unable to banish him, Morgan and her squad of cronies were able to bind Cthon's spirit to the Wundagore Mountains, where he would be forced to live out his eternities with no Wi-Fi and only fermented goat milk to drink. Now, there are a lot of other stories to go into, but time nor imagination will let me tell them all. So let's take a look at Morgan Le Fay's kit in Marvel Strike Force and see just how well her kit holds up. Morgan Le Fay is a mystic villain controller, former pupil of Merlin, and is a dominating sorceress that uses her abilities to manipulate the past and the present. Her ability Soul Siphon deals damage to her main target and excludes taunt, which is pretty much like how she dealt with Arthur. Even though she was never able to actually kill him, she hurt him. Like, plenty of times she hurt him. Her ability Time Warp is not something that I was able to really cover in the section above. Morgan eventually found herself trapped in a tower, unable to leave. It was like having COVID, but instead of being quarantined, she had pissed a lot of people off, and they trapped her in a tower. One of the main things she did during this time of isolation was astral project. It was like her version of binge watching Netflix. Morgan's ability Reality Break is actually a reference to the time that she was dragged into playing an epic game of Dungeons and Dragons with the Professor's clone, and her imagination unit got trapped inside of her own realm of fantasy. Wait, hold on. Never mind, that was an episode of Futurama. Her final ability, Fey Queen, is simply a reference to the fact that she's descendant of the Fairy Queens. Well, that's it for me, folks. Join us again in 2 weeks for another episode of Storytime with Uncle Thad, Marvel Strike Force Edition.
Hello, friends. This is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and I approve this message and am compensated for signups for this service.
The world's largest audiobook library is at your fingertips, and the Escape Podcastaways want you to try it for free. Head on over to escapepodcastaways.com and click the Going Nerdy offer button to claim a free audiobook and 2 Audible originals. Cancel anytime, and it's absolutely free to sign up. Check out Audible and support the Escape Podcastaways. All for free. See Audible website for details. Restrictions may apply.
Hey there, listeners. Merchandise specialist Critty K here. Do you enjoy the Escape Pod and want to support the channel and get something a little extra for yourself as well? Head on over to tpublic.com/user/theescapepodcast and grab a Team Neil, Team Paul, Critty Play, or many other fun Padawan designs on your choice of shirt, cup, sticker, mask, or even a magnet. And be sure to check out the Mrs. Anthony Shirts channel on the Escape Podcast Discord and get the latest info on the other designs I make as well. Sometimes there's even a sale going on, so it is smart to stop on by. Thank you for supporting the Escape Podcast.
Attention, we are receiving an incoming transmission. Attention, we are receiving an incoming transmission. Attention, we are receiving an incoming transmission. We are receiving an incoming transmission. We are receiving an transmission. We are receiving an transmission. We are receiving an transmission. We are
getting some feedback.
Oh, hang on, feedback yourself.
What's up, guys? We are back, and we have our very good friend of the channel, longtime friend. He used to be on TEPC for a while back in the day. And anyway, yeah, Mr. Jigabachi, the most beautiful man on Twitch, coolest guy I've ever seen. How you doing, brother? Good to have you, my friend.
bad on Twitch. Oh, I love it. No, just the most well lit on Twitch, because this is like very different than normal.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Also, back when I first was on TEPC, Paul said I had the second best hair, but you were first. So we both have the best
To be
hair.
quite honest, you are fighting against a man that is always doing something with his hair. Jig, every time I see you, your hair is a different color or a different gradient of color. So this is interesting this time around.
The fabulous Phoenix. So it's pink, gold, and black. Mohawk. I don't know.
Make a man blush, my friend.
All right.
Anyways, let's get on with the Marvel Strike Force talk here. What do you guys got? What do we want to talk about? First of all, Jig, you used to play Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. That's how most of us know you around here. You quit. What'd you say before Datacrons? About how long ago was it?
I stopped streaming Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes in December of last year, so it's coming up on a year. And then I played like socially in the guild that I was in. I really, really like those people. I really, really love those people. And I think I played through. I think I played until I stopped in February and then sat out all of February. They tabbed me back in to do Light Side Geo because that's the one thing in Star Wars I really liked.
Right.
So then I came back in March to do Light Side Geo, and at the end of it, I basically said I'm going to go ahead and take a semi-permanent hiatus. I've never come back.
Right,
and you shouldn't. just stay where you are.
Yeah,
because we're all suffering. You were the smart, like you got out before the hell started coming in. So, so what have you been doing, and how did you end up playing Marvel Strike Force? Like, what was kind of the conversion from SWGA into MSF? Because I know you didn't go right into it. So
no, actually, I actually started playing Marvel when it launched. So
okay,
but
I didn't know that.
For whatever reason, I just, know this is going to sound really weird, but I have this is going to sound really esoteric, but I have a policy about games where it's like one PC game, one mobile game, there is no more. Because when you end up playing multiple games on multiple different formats, then you find yourself like, oh, well, I'm going to go do 3 Marvel Snap games and then Marvel Strike Force and then SWGA, and then you find yourself doing that stuff and you kind of like lose focus. And to me, it's like, I would much rather just be like, yo, we're doing the only mobile game I'm playing is MSF. That's cool. So when I left Star Wars, I pretty much was back in, there's an alliance that I'm pretty much welcome to come back to whenever I want. They're friends, like real life friends. They're, a very, very small alliance. And I think I finally started to kind of decide that I wanted to push it a little bit. And that was about 2 months ago. Okay. And I got moved into
okay. And that in mind. Sorry, Seth. Go ahead, bud.
Well, with that in mind, are you an aquatic creature then in terms of the spending? And what's your total collection power looking like?
My total collection power is 10 million. 10 million.
10 million. Yeah.
Okay.
My policy about money is very, very simple. This is a hobby. You are allowed to spend money on hobbies. If you want something, you should be allowed to do it.
Yes, sir.
You can financially afford to do so. In total, I think I have 400 over the last 5 years.
Okay. That's not bad. That's pretty low. Yeah. That's not much.
Not as much as Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, I was 620.
And much more value in this game too. So we were talking about the 40K orb. Did you buy that? All the mini unique pack that was $20. Is
that a question you're seriously going to ask me?
Of course he bought it. Jig and I are both so Jig, I hold about the same ideas. It's a hobby for me as well. I like my hobby. I want to enjoy my hobby. But I mentioned my criteria a little bit earlier. Are they characters that are going to be super important? Is the way that you're getting those characters ridiculously stupid to do? If so, yes. But otherwise, it's like, I don't need to. But I do like it's a hobby. I want to enjoy my hobby kind of methodology to spending. And that's a very good and fair way to go about it. Because, hey, it's how we find enjoyment.
Well,
Yes,
I mean, people spend money on cars. There's dudes out there that are every night they're, I'm going to do this, put wheels on my car, big stereo. There are guys out there that are gambling on sports. There are guys out there at the bar every night. I mean, girls, guys, whatever. Everything is to be done to a person that wants to do it if they want to do so. If it's a game, if it's a beer, if it's a car, what difference does it make?
Right.
This is the things that we chose to do so. I mean, in this last 6 months, I made sure I had the Bionic Avengers team. That
Hulkbuster, man. How could you say no to Hulkbuster?
No, dude, it's Deathlock, dude. But
Deathlock.
Yeah. Oh, Deathlock is the fun one.
Yeah, he's the fun one. But I mean, it's like that's the choice, right? We choose to do the things that we want to do. So if people spends a lot of money, I don't care. There's a guy in my alliance that spends $10,000 a month.
Oh, he's going to get those 7 stars. That's it.
I just felt a heart attack happen there. Oh God! Just imagining how much money.
He spent $120,000 a year in Marvel Strike Force.
If his messages in Discord are truthful, and he has never said anything to me that didn't seem to be truthful, I mean, whatever.
If I had the money to do it, I would probably do it.
Heck yeah.
Maybe he's
disposable income, man.
I don't know what he's doing. I mean, maybe he's an OnlyFans model. I don't know.
Maybe he's shorting Bitcoin or something. Who knows?
I don't know.
If it makes you happy, that's all matters. Though.
I just know that he's in my raid lane, and that's nice.
Hey, you mentioned Bionic Avengers. Let's talk a little bit about the new toys that have come out the last little bit. What are some of your what are the things you're doing with the new stuff that's come out lately? So we've had all of the Horseman teams, the Bionic Avengers, all the stuff that's required for those Horsemans. So what are you doing right now as far as like building up your roster? What are the things you're playing with?
Okay, well, that is a question that is going to give a little bit of a longer answer because I have to let you know where I am in the game and what I'm doing because that influences what I'm prioritizing.
Right.
So I'm 10 million. I am days away from starting Dark Dimension 5.
Okay.
Days. I mean, nice. I'm literally waiting on one unique.
Oh, you're right on the door. You're right at the doorstep. Oh, dude, that is awesome.
And I've got three cities done for this. And then unfortunately, Red Hulk was one of the first G16s I had. So I have Cloak, Dagger, Red Hulk. This is going to be, when you understand my planning, you'll get this. I have a G16 7 Red Star Psylocke.
Ballin', man.
Okay. Psylocke is now required. So
did you know that she was going to be valuable for Death Seed, or did that just happen beforehand? And
7 Red was an orb pickup a year ago.
I mean, I had a 7 Red Squirrel Girl, and you bet your hind in I brought her up to G16
So did I.
For Dark Dimension 5.
Why would you not? I mean,
exactly.
It's some things happen and then they're like happy accidents. So when she got included on the Death Seed team, I was literally like, yes.
Another happy accident was a 7 Red She-Hulk.
I have a 6 Red She-Hulk and she on my
slaps. It's so good.
Dude, I can't get the the
Gravitonium?
No, not the Gravitonium. It's the unique, the like plus sign, the green plus sign.
Oh, the gamma radiation.
No, it's
the health catalysts.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay.
She requires like 250 or something ridiculous.
My kingdom for some health catalysts.
She is a lot.
But it's fine. So anyways, I'm doing Dark Dimension. I'm getting ready to start it. So I'm in Doom 2.
Oh man. Oh, a Doom 2 roster is so much different than a Doom 3. It feels different, even though they're the same requirements. It's
and same team. So we're kind of like trying to get to the point where we can say pull the trigger on Doom 3 for people.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing Doom 2, getting ready for Doom 3, and then I'm starting my Dark Dimension. So that kind of breaks down what I'm planning for.
Right.
For all of Dark Dimension 5, and I don't know if this is going to be successful or not, I'm doing pure Horseman.
That starts to hurt at Cosmic, but everything else is like, it is coming up solid to do every other thing for Horseman.
So for City, it's just She-Hulk because she's the only one that qualifies for Horseman, and so she's the mandatory City, Cloak and Dagger, because they're sensational together.
Love them.
Yeah, and then what's my other one? Oh, I'm doing Shang-Chi because he's the best character.
He's so good. I took him to 16 after my first run, and you do the dude's kick where it does extra damage for the number of buffs, and you do that on top of having a high red star for him and G16, and it's
he'll one-shot teams.
He
by
just
himself.
kicks.
Just gone.
I joke to myself, I'm just gonna have Shang-Chi just go kick people to death. That's really what we're doing.
Exactly.
He just walks in and just starts, doing the John Wick routine.
Yeah, and then my 5th is the Colleen
Wing.
Oh, yeah, and keeps your H4H pretty good.
Well, this is going to sound crazy because everybody, when they do, they usually overload the skill in global.
Right. Yep.
I am not. I am taking no skill in global. My global is, and this is where things get wonky, Gambit, Psylocke, Wolverine, Brawn, and Hulk.
Whoa. You have to stream that. I have to see that. You got to stream that.
So you're going to spend 50 million years in those nodes.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the nice thing.
Mine's very similar to that. Mine's like Captain Sam with Hulk and Gambit so far.
Here's the nice thing is that, you're not, as long as you're doing damage and you're reducing health bars, that's the biggest thing. Now, when you get to the point where you're fighting a lot of squirrel girls, then you start to worry a little bit. Or 2 Shuris in a node, because that's where I am right now in my second run in global, is that there's 2 Shuris, and daggone it, Miss Marvel keeps reflex taunting and keeping me from killing them.
Oh, Hulk punch, dude. It's not an issue.
Or even better, the return of Double Iron Fist.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. I mean, here's the thing about it. It's not a race.
Exactly.
I mean, because if something else gets added into that matrix that I can put in there that makes sense between then and now, I will. But I have to have all the horsemen at G16 anyways.
Mm-hmm. You could put in Spider-Weaver.
She's required.
Spider-Weaver is required.
Yeah, G16 for a horseman? No, she's not.
So she's in the 5th category. So there's 4 horseman teams, and then there's additional characters. She's in the additional characters bucket.
I didn't know that.
I mean, I could theoretically add her. I don't have a problem with it. She's Mystic though, right?
She is Mystic, but she's cheaper on the Mystic side. She's like a 36 tune as far as the costs are concerned. So, and plus the fact that she's
younger than that.
That got it, Jiggy.
What it comes down to is have fun, though. That's why I tell people, like, should I do this? Should I do that? Do what's fun for you.
I'm doing the way that I'm doing it. It'll be fine. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that it's going to be suboptimal. I don't care.
Have fun. Have fun with it. That's it. Yep. That's all it is.
Yep.
I'll add Sam later. I mean, I'll do Maria, Sam, and
Sharon.
I'm in no rush.
Yep. As far as like, so you're set in Doom 2. As far as like your war stuff, how's war going for you? Because like I would imagine with war, Doom 2 rosters tend to be there may not be as much in the war category. It depends. It really depends on where people are at, especially if they're starting at smaller GPs or TCPs.
Well, I'm the baby. And when I mean the baby in my alliance, everybody in the alliance except for me is 17 million and up. So I'm almost half of the lowest person.
Oh my gosh. You're half of mine, which is whew.
Yeah, but I mean, I get stuff done.
Heck yeah.
I am not the basement dweller on any of the raids. I'm not the basement dweller in war. I mean, there's plenty of teams for me to attack. Am I going to be able to attack the 1.2 million Darkhold teams that we saw today? No. But it was not quite as enjoyable as the 1.3 million Gamma team that was on defense today.
Jeez.
1.3 million.
Have you been playing with Zim, with Zombie Iron Man?
I have not. No.
Oh,
I have a list of stuff to do right now.
Did you unlock him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
So
The
are
only
you?
character I'm missing from the list is the Mr. Negative, but I guess there was no event for that.
They haven't done one yet for him.
Yeah, so I'm that's not worried. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
I'll get there.
So is there any future characters you're excited about? Trying to unlock? Are you excited about War Dogs or anything like that?
The War Dogs. That team, although that I'm sure it's great. So I like to have characters that have multi taps.
Yep.
So like Black Panther, when they did Cosmic Crucible and now War, boy, if Shuri, Black Panther, and Okoye didn't become the most important characters for flexing, because they're triple tapped, because they're War, they're Cosmic Crucible. So I like characters like that, where they have like lots of different things, lots of plug and play. So like Hulk, you guys were laughing like Hulk not being on the global. Well, guess what? Hulk is tagged for like everything. So he's, you know what I mean? Why would you not do it? Because, Wave 1 Avengers, okay. Gamma, okay. Avengers, okay. It's like there's so many things that he gets tagged with. It's so those characters transition really well. And I actually feel like those three, the core of that Wakandan team, which is Shuri, Black Panther, and Okoye, are probably that type of character. And I'll get to there eventually. Can I do that right now? No, but I'm close. Shuri is one of my legendaries for my GD5. So
she's really good for that.
She's going to be one of the G16. So it's the 4 Horsemen plus Shuri. That's what I'm going to do.
I use Shuri as part of my legendary team with 2 Horsemen, Omega Red, and who is my 5th? Gosh, this has been a hot minute. It was Jubilee, but now it'd be like Red Hulk, and it'll soon be Archangel. And dude, she's so good. She's so good.
Well, for me, it's going to be the 4 Horsemen plus Shuri. I mean, I have 3 of them already at G16, so she's just going to be the 5th. So that's fine. And she's tech, so it's super cheap.
Is Archangel someone you're excited about? Did you care about him in the comics or anything? Because I'm a huge Archangel fan. I love that.
My favorite character is already in the game. She's been in the game for a couple of years now. Jubilee.
Psylocke. Oh, Jubilee. You told me before. I couldn't remember what it was.
Hold on. Let me see if I can pin down Jiggy. Jiggy, do you have her Year of the Dragon skin?
Negative.
Oh, all the people I think that would be rocking that skin on her, it would be Jiggy. Because it sure as heck ain't me.
I like the pink sunglasses.
This is true. This is true.
I loved her in the 90s cartoon. She was silly. She was fun. Everybody thought she was annoying. I thought she was great. It stuck with me.
Let's actually, Nick, do you have any other questions? I got one last question to round us out.
No, I think that really well kind of covered it. Actually, since you're working on your Horsemen, have you done any of the sagas, or how are you doing on Scourges?
The only one that I was able to, what is it? Difficulty 5. That's where you can.
It's where you start requiring the actual characters. Yes.
Okay. So I have never even done difficulty 5 for, MILF. So I have to do it at difficulty 4.
Oh, man.
I can do difficulty 4 on MILF with every single one of the things selected. So I beat it. I beat difficulty 4 at 560K with that, because I add every single one of the what are they called? The
Scourges.
Yeah, I add every single one. So I line the whole thing and then I beat it that way.
Oh my gosh.
And that's what I do for MILF. And then the second one is Young Avengers, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
They have a 500K Young Avengers team. So that clears it easily. The third one is Asgardians. That
It
was
says Guardians
yeah.
Wave 1 Ravagers. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing that one with the Asgardian, but the Hero Asgardians one was stupid easy.
Mm-hmm.
Like as compared to the Young Avengers one, the Young Avengers one was challenging. Like you actually had to think and go, okay, I need to kill him first. I need to CC this person. I need to get the blind here. But the Hero Asgardians, you could basically play with your face.
Mm-hmm.
Thor go bonk.
And then I expect to have a pretty easy time with Bionic Avengers because my Bionic Avengers is 760K.
Oh,
There
yeah.
you go.
Right. Nice. All right.
That dummy thick going.
Here is the last question we got for you before we go into
characters, dude. When you have 2 legacy characters, it's so easy.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
230K Psylocke. I mean,
it's gonna be so
That's
good.
so cool. I got to see a pic of that, man. You got to DM it to me.
All right, here's the last question. Hey, Jiggy, if you could put one other character, we already know your favorite characters are in the game. If you could have another character go into the game, who would that character be? Anyone.
I'm going to be totally honest with you. My other favorite character, and if I wear a T-shirt with her on it all the time. I have like 4. This is so stupid. I have like 4 T-shirts. I have 4 Storm T-shirts. It'd be really cool if Storm was Storm.
Good. Was good.
Class A mutant, dude.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
She's Bubkiss. I mean, it would be killer, man, if she was, you know what I mean? Like
quality.
Yeah. Like if she was like something real. So like when they were talking about that there was going to be another mutant team to be the 4th Horseman team, I was like in my brain, I was like going, dude, it'd be so cool if Storm was on that team. And I mean, when I saw the Psylocke and Magneto, I was like, oh, that's cool. Oh, bummer, it's not Storm. But I mean, they gave us 2 legacy characters. That's better than nothing. So.
Exactly.
That's why the Bionic Avengers is such a gimme, is because it's 2 legacy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Vision and Iron Man. I mean, most people have them already, or at least, started.
She might get reworked though. They're reworking all kinds of old tunes and bringing them up. I don't know how many more X-Men teams we're gonna have, but I'm sure we're
gonna have at least 3 more.
There's more where that came from. Hey, Jiggy, tell us where you're at, what you do, and what we can expect to run your channel.
I am a full-time streamer. I stream from pretty much 1 p.m. Central to whenever my wife gets home and says, no more Apex Legends.
I know how that is.
I pretty much stream Apex Legends all the time, but I do sub in a lot of other different games. Like this next week, I'm going to be playing a turn-based Dungeons and Dragons 5e game called Solasta, which is one of the most incredible turn-based games. So I play a lot of different stuff. I played Alien Isolation during the last week of October. I do a lot of goofy stuff, but I play a lot of Apex Legends. I'm not going to deny that.
Yeah, I tuned in for some of your Solasta ones. That was a pretty good game to watch it. And what you were playing one where if you die, you start over, right?
It deletes the save when you die.
Yeah. So that was pretty fun watching you do that.
Not only have I played it, I've played it on the highest difficulty on that mode, and I've beat every campaign and everything in the game that way. By the way, if there's a difficulty setting, I will always put it on the highest and play through it that way.
Oh my gosh.
True gamer.
I've never played. I love Cyberpunk. It's one of my favorite games. I've never played it on anything other than very hard. I don't even know what the other ones are. When something says easy, I look at it and I go, I'm not easy. Are you kidding me?
I'm not good enough to do anything on hard. Well, Mr. Jigabachi, it was a pleasure to have you on, man. Always good to see you. Love watching your streams and everything. And thank you for being our honorary first guest on the show, man. That's right, man.
I just love doing these talks together, man. You guys, I love doing it. I love doing it when I was doing Star Wars. I love doing it now.
Same here, man. It's always a pleasure, and we'll have you back on again
at some point in time, for sure.
Get that TCP up, man, and we'll have you on.
Oh, heck yeah! All right, guys. Sorry. Go.
I was about to say I am the person to be afraid of in Marvel because I am disciplined and a very strategic nightmare for people. I am the one you want to avoid, which is why I'm at 10 million and I am in gold 2.
Nice.
So I'm actually not in the dregs.
I think I'm in gold 3, so I might be seeing you soon.
You're in my tier.
Watch out for him.
All right,
Jiggy.
Okay, guys.
Maybe we can get a live stream out of it.
Guys, we got one more ad break to go, and then we've got some Patreon questions over on the Helicarrier. Guys, stick around. Jiggy, thank you so much for joining us, and we're going to head over into some ads. See you all in the break.
Podawans, be sure to support the shows brought to you on the Escape Podcast Twitch and YouTube channel by becoming a Patreon. For as little as $2 a month, you can support us and get a little extra for yourself. With tiered rewards including access to Shitty Bill's Arena tracking bot, after-show access, inclusion in the GA Center leaderboards, behind-the-scenes access, and much more. There is something for everyone on our Discord server. Head on over to Patreon, that is patreon.com/The Escape Pod, and sign up today. Thank you for supporting and listening to the Escape Podcast.
Dickie's House of Dickie, this is Dickie.
Dickie, we have a problem.
Oh, hey, what's up, Paul?
Look, I'm not sure what's going on with your segment, but it's affecting the whole show. You need to get control of this.
Yeah, I know. We're having issues over here, too.
Issues? Thaddeus is now addicted to the smell of chloroform. Bob is speaking in tongues. I walked into the cafeteria the other day, and Neil was drinking coffee. Coffee! Dickie, I asked if we were out of tea, and he said no. He wanted a cup of coffee.
Ooh, that is pretty disturbing.
So, what are we going to do about this?
Well, I'm sorry. I really have no clue what's happening here. We're victims, too.
And you have no clue who could be doing this.
I mean, I have theories. I mean, surely we've met our fair share of scoundrels and homicidal droids over the past year, and, well, I hate to even mention this, but I had Yarmo run some tests on Noob and found a strange file that Yarmo said was just sitting there like it wanted to be found.
Do not click on that.
I think if we want to get to the bottom of this, we have to. It's called Hotobosks. Does that mean anything to you?
Bosk? You think someone has sent Bosk after us?
No, I don't think so. It's spelled B-O-S-X.
Wait, so H-O-T-O-B-O-S-K?
No. S-X.
8 letters.
That's correct.
Starts with an H.
Uh-huh.
Ends with an X.
Oh, wait, I see where you're going with this. You think we have, like, a Ghost in the Machine type situation?
Maybe, but didn't you also run into another version in the multiverse? Could you have opened a door you possibly shouldn't have? If it's him, we have to click.
All right, well, I had Yarmo put on this USB key, so rather than fry my laptop, the Noob, I guess. It seems to be calling out. It's asking me, do we want to admit mysterious stalker to the call? I guess. Here goes nothing.
Remember, the 5th of November, the Gungan treason and plot. I see no reason the Gungan treason should ever be forgot. The only verdict is grappling the governors. Grievous is gone. Gungan gunfire granted him guidance to the Great Gorge, yet glory is not granted to the Guardians. Grit, a gift granted to a grifter from a game from a generation gone. A guardian was given guise over a group, granting gate to gesture with gusto. A gambling gonk, grown from the genius of geeks, and not gems of the galaxy of Gorge. Grains growing gainfully while ghosts of glory remain gilded in the ground. Our day will come. There is no death, only sacrifice.
Is that it? It's over? Well, that was pretty creepy.
Well, that was not very nice.
Wait, you're not a recording, so this is live?
No, this is a recording.
Okay, whatever. What's with all this cryptic stuff, dude? If you have a beef, just come at it straight. I can't help you if I don't know what you want. Besides, the QR code that led you to the Lake City, the Gungan treason, I know it's you, Jar Jar.
Jar Jar. It's always Jar Jar with you people. He is the reason no one takes the Gungans seriously. We banished him, and he still haunts us. I mean, seriously, we defeat the Separatists over and over again. They 3 full squads, but we can't get a single one because of Jar Jar Binks.
So, you're not Jar Jar?
No. We have one of the coolest armies, with giant boombas, glowing shields, catapults, foombas, Falumbup sets, bombard shields, not one single Gungan in the game. Yet we get a full team of weird flying bugs who did nothing but get slaughtered in battle. I defeated Grievous in battle.
Oh, wait, you're that general guy. Oh, what's his name? Paul, help me out.
Is it Goose?
That's it, Goose Marbles.
My name is a Ruse. Ruse Tarbles. I died one of the most heroic deaths in all of Star Wars, sacrificing myself to save the Naboo, and no one even remembers my name. The dum-dum who sat 20 feet away and watched it happen with a goofy expression on his face. Everyone remembers Jar Jar Binks.
Look, man, I'll admit you make a pretty solid case, and those boomas are really cool. But really, why us? What can we do for you, Goose?
It's a ruse. Misa watched all these characters are coming to the game. Characters who's barely known. And still, not a single Gungan in this game. Misa be caring about me soldiers and wants to be seeing them. Get the respect that Misa deserving.
But again, why us?
Well, Misa seeing was a you did for Hondo. And Misa thinking you should help out the Gungans.
Count me out. I just got out of a long-term relationship with a cause I thought I'd never win, and I'd like to enjoy the spoils of that.
Well, I'm not sure what power I really have here, but me and Noob do kind of need something new to do. I'll tell you what. If Noob and I agree to find out who decides what characters make it to the games and bring you to him, do you agree to stop messing with our ships?
If you're helping the Gungans, Misa beings most grateful. Oh, no. I'm not setting off on another wild goose chase.
Whoa, don't say goose, Noob. That kind of triggers him.
Oh, and another thing. Did you think they're going to have an episode without me? Huh? My name is in the title.
Of course not, Noob. Here you are. Yay!
Uh-huh. I'm not getting out of this, am I?
Nope.
Fine, let's find out who picks the characters that get into the game. But this had better not lead us into another season finale showdown with Mickey frickin' Mouse. I mean, whatever his name was. It's already been done.
You're listening to the Escape Pod Cast.
And I have no feedback. That's good. There we go. Okay, we're good. And we're back. I couldn't hear myself because I turned my headphones down. We are back with our last segment. Oh, man. Hey, guys, a little bit of like behind the curtain just discussion for a moment. Like,
almost made it without a mess up on the air flare.
Oh, holy crap. Yes. Is that the voice of Paul speaking? We've almost made it without a mess up. Pulling back the curtain just a second. Like this is my first time doing anything like this. And I have been sweating bullets the entire time, trying not to mess up. And the moment we get to this part, I'm like, what? And I forget, like, oh, I turned my headphone down. That's all that happened here. All right, guys, we are at the last segment of the show, Patreon's questions. Nick, take it away and tell everyone what they can do during the course of this segment.
Absolutely. So if you guys have channel points, they are redeemable for 1,000 points. You just go under your channel points segment. It says podcast for segment question and get your questions in. We do have some submissions from our Patreons, and you can always subscribe to the Escape Podcast on the Patreon site through patreon.com, where you can get access to our Discord, where you can ask these questions in advance. Our good friend Zaz has 5 questions for us. So our first one is top 3 superhero movies, any brand.
Okay.
Kyle, you want to go first?
Yeah. Infinity War, #1 greatest superhero movie ever made. They're all Marvel. I'm not a big DC guy. The Boys is a show, so I can't count that as a movie. So Infinity War, Civil War, Iron Man 1.
I actually really liked the Snyder Cut of Justice League. I also have kind of my go-tos with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I mean, Infinity War was just
so epic,
a masterpiece. I got to give it to you.
It's up there with Star Wars for me, man.
Since to take away, but from yours, so since that was shared, Injustice, the short film from DC, that was really good. The animated one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Claire, what about you, bud?
I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Actually, no, I've got it. All right, top 3 for me. The first Captain America movie. I am a huge Captain America fan, and that was just one of those. It fit the character for me. It was just great. Loved it. The first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Oh my gosh, James Gunn. As far as directing and everything, like you can tell a James Gunn movie. And Guardians of the Galaxy is was the movie to get James Gunn for it. And it was so good. I love it. And I love what he's done with the second volume of it. My third one is Black Panther. And that's not just because Wakanda Forever is releasing the week we're recording this episode. Black Panther for me was a movie that came out at a time where there's a whole lot of social commentary that's happening around the time the movie came out. And I feel like the movie took its social commentary and did with it the justice for a story, a quality story with that in mind that was good. It was a good story.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't say the same about Captain Marvel that I would about Black Panther. They're two totally different beasts and they handle their subject matter so very differently. One is a master craft of storytelling and the other is a hot pile of garbage.
It also has to come down to the fact that Chadwick Boseman was a legendary actor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Boseman was so good.
Rest in peace.
Yep.
Also, speaking of rest in peace, we want to shout out to the voice actor who died today. The Batman. I'm sorry, what was his name?
Kevin Conroy.
It was Kevin Conroy, who was Batman for the animated series. So Batman TAS.
Yes.
When
R.I.P.
for someone like me, like I grew up watching those episodes. I watched a lot of those episodes because you would see them on. It wasn't newly coming out as I was watching them, but still to grow up and watch the Batman animated series and hear Kevin Conroy's voice, like that is an iconic Batman voice.
Yep.
When you think of Batman, it is as far as the voice actors, that is up there.
And you also had Mark Hamill as the Joker.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. He was an absolute star in bringing the hero genre. How we're talking today, it helped escalate that popularity. He is one of those stepping stones to what we have today.
Yep.
Wakanda Forever does not happen without Kevin Conroy.
Absolutely.
I'll bring it there. I'll go that far.
I was trying to connect the dots there.
He's like, where? How many chess moves did we just take?
Here, the shoulders of giants.
Yeah,
I got you.
Yep.
All right. Next question: top 3 musical movies.
This is. I feel like I don't watch a whole lot of musical movies. Like
movies that may also be musicals. So you may have more than you think, because I've got 3. Anastasia.
Okay.
Because it's become a musical. Prince of Egypt.
Yes.
Did a run in the West. It just finished a run in the West End. And Hairspray.
Okay.
John Travolta or Divine?
Hi, voice of Paul.
Actually, John Panette.
That's the voice of God.
He's not Morgan Freeman.
How about the top 3 musicals I can't stand? Can we do that?
If you put Hamilton anywhere near there, we're going to have issues.
No, I can't stand Grease or Footloose or any of the classics. And I've watched them a million times with my family. Yeah. I'm not a musical guy, but I do like Pitch Perfect. So let's do all 3 Pitch Perfects from
Okay. So to be fair, and this is also from an acapella nerd. Yes. Pitch Perfect was good. Mm-hmm. Very good.
Yeah. I love Workaholics too. So
I can throw in the Hamilton because they did a release of it on Disney Plus. I'm totally throwing it in because it was it's Hamilton. Like you can't ignore it.
Right. Yeah.
Man, I don't have like an actual third movie that is not a sequel or anything like that though. Like that's how few of those I watch. Actually, no. It's an animated one. Sing. That was a good one. I like Sing. It's just one of those weird, like, hey, especially when you have to watch it with a bunch of kids, you want to have at least something you enjoy. Mm-hmm. The life and times of a guy that does youth and children's ministry stuff. It's just like
I've never seen that.
I actually took a totally different interpretation. I thought they were movies that are musicals, not movies that happen to have musical runs.
Oh gosh,
that's what now I see where I've got my wires crossed. That changes.
Let's move on.
All right, top 3 favorite Marvel villains.
Ooh,
Flair, what you got?
All right, so I love Black Panther, and besides its subject matter and storytelling, another thing I loved so much about it was Killmonger. Killmonger as a villain was written to be a good and proper sympathetic villain. You actually care about what he's doing this for. And yes, he's the bad guy, but he's doing it for reasons that are because of how he was born and raised. It wasn't just you crossed the street in front of me, I'm going to commit world domination now. So yeah, I've got Killmonger is definitely one of my favorites. I like Thanos overall. I wouldn't necessarily call him my favorite. He's definitely up there because he's this kind of this menacing threat to everything. And I think the other one that comes to mind for me is Vulture from the first Spider-Man movie. Michael Keaton doing like having just that menacing look, and it's like, oh hey, like you're taking my daughter on a date, you're taking her to homecoming. I'm gonna kill you,
I'm gonna murder you.
That whole sequence, it's the sequence of Tom Holland in the car with Michael Keaton having that conversation. I'm like, this is so good. Oh, I love it.
No, I agree. Was that your 3?
That was my 3. That was my 3.
Seth, me?
Yeah, go for it.
Doctor Doom, Doc Ock, and I didn't really even know much about Thanos until the MCU, but I got to put Thanos. I mean, that's some of the greatest cinema I've ever seen. So that's my 3.
I am going to go with Venom. Since he is a classic heroic villain.
What did I think about that?
Okay, I interpret him as an anti-hero nowadays, but yeah, I'll allow it. Yeah,
I mean, thinking about it, like as a kid, watching him,
he was a villain
in the Spider-Man series, the Spider-Man animated series. That's where I kind of draw from him. Galactus,
yes, sir.
Okay,
I mean, Silver Surfer being one of my favorite characters, Galactus is the guy. And I am so excited for the day that we can just have Galactus in the game. And it's just him. He doesn't have a team. Yeah. He just goes, hi.
Yep.
This is
and
not
everyone
happening.
Disintegrates.
Yep.
And then my third one is Magneto.
Okay.
Especially from the films. He just, to to the credit of, oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Michael Fassbender.
No.
Well, hold on. Fassbender or not Ian McKellen.
Is it Patrick Stewart?
No, that's Professor X.
Ian McKellen.
That's Professor
Ian McKellen.
It was Gandalf. Yeah.
Yeah. Sir Ian makes a menacing villain.
Yes.
Such a great. And let's say Carnage too. I now that he said Venom, all these other ones popped in my mind, but I gotta say Carnage also.
Yeah.
That whole line where he gets the symbiote suit, and then you have a whole arc about Spider-Man versus Venom, and then they have to team up and take out Carnage. Just a great overall story arc that's one of my all-time favorites.
You guys are missing the number one villain in Marvel Universe.
It's going to be something obscure. Let's hear
Loki.
I thought we were going to also hear the voice of Nev saying Death's Head 2. You can just hear it now. Oi, mate, Death's Head 2. Where's Death's Head 2 at? Where's he on your list?
He's probably yelling at us right now at the screen as we speak.
He already threw his teddy at Flair, so I don't know if he has anything else to throw at us. All right. Top 3 movies with a car chase in it.
How many movies don't have a car chase?
I already know my all-time favorite though.
This is going to be a deep cut, but the first Crank movie with I know it's Handsome Rob.
Statham.
Yeah, Statham.
Jason Statham, yeah.
Ironically, I think all 3 of them are Jason Statham films because Italian Job has a really great Mini Cooper car chase. And then, I mean, Fast and the Furious is a car chase that happens to be a movie.
The most ridiculous car crash or car scene is car chase is where Fast and the Furious and they're jumping out of skyscrapers and going into other ones. Anyways, is it my turn?
Yep.
I don't have 3 I can think of, but I will say my all-time favorite is Pineapple Express. I remember watching that car chase where like there's a slushy gets put on. They're running away from the cops or something, and they have the slushies all over the front of the shield, and they have to windshield that they kick the hole in. It was just the funniest thing I'd ever seen. I can't think of any other ones, but
so like to be honest, I'm almost in the same boat as Kyle, but there's a movie that sticks out for me, Baby Driver. Baby Driver has some amazing. Now Kyle's thinking.
Gone in 60 seconds. The whole movie's a car chase scene.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, I'm sorry to interrupt, buddy. I just popped in my head.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So Baby Driver, really excellent movie. There's a ton of stuff awesome with the movie, but the driving is excellent, especially the opening sequence of Baby Driver. If you watch just the opening sequence, and you will love the whole premise of it.
Yeah, great movie.
I loved Transformers growing up as a kid. So any of the chase sequences from Transformers, like I was just like, I love it because it's a kid with this. I like seeing Transformers stuff. Really, to be honest, besides that, like I've seen a few of the Fast and the Furious movies, but beyond that, like nothing else sticks out to me.
Same.
And then our last question: top 3 prison films.
The one where Adam Sandler plays football. The Longest Yard, I think it's called.
Okay.
Which was a remake of the Burt Reynolds movie.
Yeah, I couldn't get into the old one. I watched them both. I'm just going to name some movies that have that take place in prison. It doesn't mean it's necessarily my favorite ones. The one where Morgan Freeman and they carve figures. It's a classic.
Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, Shawshank Redemption. Yep. I think there's one I really like, but I can't think of one. I'll pass it on. I can't think of any more.
I've got 2 off the top of my head. The Last Castle.
Mm-hmm.
Just lost my second one. Oh, Let's Go to Prison. That one's it's a obscure little comedy.
I've seen it. I don't. It's been a long time though.
it's kind of one of those like psyop kind of comedy.
Is Dax Shepard in it?
That sounds about right. Yeah, I think it was kind of the height of his popularity.
Yeah.
Oh, one more, The Green Mile.
Darn it! You took mine. Damn it! I was hoping no one was gonna say it. Green Mile. I was young when I watched Green Mile, and it weirded me out a little bit. But then going back later and watching it, oh my gosh, The Green Mile is such a good movie.
Yep.
I don't have two other prison movies because I don't do prison movies. That's not usually in my repertoire of stuff. All right. And then
we got one final edition
from the voice of. I'm surprised the voice of Paul didn't just airdrop this one live. Besides,
I mean, I was just trying to give you a chance to read the question that I put in Patreon's choice as well. The best prison movie has got to be The Rock, Nicolas Cage.
I thought that was in the air. Oh no! You're right. That
was Con Air.
Island. Yeah, that's in the island. That's
right. Yeah, Con Air.
That is a good. No, I love that movie. You're right.
The Rock is another name for Alcatraz, which is a famous
prison.
There you go.
I learned something today.
Now we done learned something. All right. And then from the voice of Paul, we have our last question, which is, how did your first week as host go? Guys, how do we feel?
Horrible.
We killed it.
I don't think we're going to do another one after this.
Go, Kyle.
No, I'm just kidding. I had a blast. You guys did wonderful. It's just going to get better from here on out. We got to get some things polished. We're just getting things figured out. But thank you both for doing this endeavor with me, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for us. What about you guys?
Seth, I'll let you go.
I think this is going really well, and I'm looking forward to this. We've got a lot of fun ahead of us.
I agree, brother.
Besides me sweating a brick halfway through this, I have enjoyed this. Again, pulling back the curtain, it's been a hot minute since I've been in the hot seat with anything. The last time I was here on the Escape Podcast was for GA Center. And yes, even though I was the co-host, I was not the head of production. I didn't do the production side of it, Neil. So for me to be doing it, and this is a whole new endeavor for me on this side of things. Like, I stream, but it's just like, it's a very different beast to be part of the whole show and having to do all of this stuff from this side of the curtain. And I have enjoyed it. Also, more apparently Mr. Jigabachi is like, oh, more Mr. Jig for me. That dude. No, I'm not saying that, Jiggy. Dadgummit! He almost caught me there. He almost caught me. He did this to me many times when we did GA Center. Many times, and I had to read his stuff. But no, this has been an excellent, awesome endeavor. I'm excited to see where this goes. I think we'll have fun with this.
Well, gentlemen, what's coming up for you guys on Twitch this week?
Flair, go ahead, bud.
So we are all over. I'm all over the place. I do variety. Right now, I'm actually in the middle of a franchise that's the Trails series. In Japan, it's called the Kiseki franchise. So I'm doing Trails in the Sky, which is an old 2004 JRPG. And I'm having fun with it. I'm also looking to bring in God of War 2018 to play through that before I touch God of War Ragnarok.
Awesome. Seth?
I don't have anything scheduled this week. Still working on the rebuild.
Okay.
So I do pretty much the same thing, but I have gotten to some new stuff. Of course, Grand Arena, no matter how miserable it is of a stream. I mean, it's bad. It's been pretty bad lately. Mm-hmm. We always do that. I don't care, rain or shine, unless something really has come up. I also am now streaming my Marvel Strike Force alt account I started the other day. There's a lot of people here in chat and the community that have started over. So I wanted to make a guild, and we were all kind of, playing the game together. I'm having a lot of fun doing that, actually. Way more fun doing the alt as a beginner than I am in Swugga. And then last but least, I am obsessed with the old school Star Wars Galaxies MMO. It came out when I was a kid, and I didn't get to experience it, and I go to bed thinking about it. So we've been streaming that too. So those three is what we do every day in a row. So.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, so hey, more of what's happening. We've got a our next episode of the MSF Edition will not be the week after next, because that falls on Thanksgiving. We will actually be back. Voice of Paul, correct me if I'm wrong here. We should be back. Actually, we're going to do the first week of December.
Yeah, you guys. What's happening is you guys are going to do the 2nd and the 16th of December, and we're going to do the 9th and the 30th. We're skipping Thanksgiving week, and then in turn, we're also skipping Christmas week. So we'll be at the 1st and 3rd and 2nd and 4th, just as advertised, starting in the new year.
So we have no idea when we'll be on. Just tune in.
we will be back on December 2nd. So we're gonna. It's gonna give us a couple of weeks to polish some stuff up, to fix some things, to get all these things sorted out, get some more stuff
and
going here.
Review what you did, and review how you did, and where you can improve. You guys killed it. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, buddy. And let's thank Paul. I mean, if it wasn't for Paul, none of this would be going on. So thank you, brother. Thank you for helping us out behind the scenes. And it looked amazing. And if it's not for Paul, there's no TEPC, there's no community, there's no fun. And anything else you guys got to say?
You're making me blush off camera.
Aww.
I have one last thing to say. Be nice to each other, damn it.
I was going to say that.
And Flair, if you would be so kind, Flair.
What am I doing?
Push the button.
Will do, guys. All right. We will see you all later on. Bye.
What's going on? Where the hell are we? Paris?
Thank you for pressing the self-destruct button.
Attention! This is Colonel Sanders in forward command. Abandon ship! Abandon ship! All personnel proceed to escape pods. Close down the circuits. Evacuate the city. Self-destruct mechanism has been activated. Abandon ship! Where is it? Where is it? It's gonna be here. Out of order! Even in the future, nothing works.
This ship will self-destruct in exactly 10 seconds. Counting down. 10, 9, 8, 6.
6! What happened to 7?
Just kidding. 3, 2, 1. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Hello, friends. This is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy. The Escape Podcast was filmed in front of a live studio audience full of tweaked out murder bears.
Sit, Boo Boo, sit. Good dog.